Hello and welcome to our performance, which is a collaboration between the Royal College of Occupational Therapists, Highly Sprung and Sprung Youth. Highly Sprung is the UK's leading physical theatre company making work for and with children and young people. We make stories with our bodies and create original physical theatre that empowers young people to explore and express their unique creativity. Sprung Youth is a diverse group of young people of different ages and from different backgrounds across Coventry. A few of us volunteered to take part in this project and work together to create what you are about to see. We loved working on such an important project and devising a performance based on the new play guideline. The group of us that volunteered represent different backgrounds, thoughts and voices. Together, we all have differences. Some of us are neurodiverse. Some of us have ongoing mental health issues, but together we are united in believing how important the sharing of the Royal College of Occupational Therapists recommendation on play is. Our hope is that this guideline could benefit people just like us.
Hello and welcome to the Royal College of Occupational Therapists Guideline on Play. We are the national organisation for occupational therapists in the United Kingdom, including occupational therapists who work with children and young people. Our job is to help children do the everyday things they need and want to do, like get dressed, write an essay, and play. This presentation shares the evidence-based recommendations for the use of play by occupational therapists in the UK for work with children aged 0 to 18 years of age. The recommendations have been developed using high-quality current research evidence on the occupation of play in occupational therapy assessment, intervention, and as a therapy outcome. And now, this amazing piece of work is being brought to life for you today by us, your friendly play experts. Hello! So, let's get down to the serious business of play. Play. The misunderstood and overlooked superpower of humanity. That's right, you heard me, superpower. Why do we class it as such? Well, to be playful is to have hope. Research shows us that when we play as children, we feel happy, included. We feel part of a community. Play allows us to grow, develop, and connect with others on a deeper level. That's pretty superhero-y in our book. Play is a fundamental right for all children. And as occupational therapists, we must take play as a therapy outcome seriously. Seriously! So, let's dive deep into the domain of childhood and get playful in our understanding of play. Are you ready, play experts? Then we shall begin. Play is defined as activities that are intrinsically motivated, internally controlled, and freely chosen. So that means that play is driven by the child or young person and directed by them. That may include the suspension of reality, like a fantasy. It may involve exploration, humour, risk-taking, contests, even celebrations. But what does that mean? Basically, if you see a child pretending to be a brave knight celebrating a battle they've won over a fierce, fire-breathing dragon by telling jokes in a far-off land where clouds are pink and the sea is purple, well, that child is most definitely playing. Play is complex and multifaceted, a self-directed and naturally motivated activity. Our sense of play is shaped by so much: where we live in the world, our immediate environment, even the homes and outdoor locations we have access to, and the things that we have around us to play with. Add to this cultural and educational differences, and we get into a position where my play might look different to your play, to their play, and theirs, and theirs, and theirs. In fact, I think we should just make it clear that there is no right or wrong where play is concerned, and we should keep this in mind when trying to understand play as part of therapy. So, let's get started looking at recommendations that explain how occupational therapists should use play in their practice. Firstly, goals and outcomes. Getting children to play is important for occupational therapists. It can be classed as both a goal for the children and young people, as well as an important outcome of their therapy. When using play, occupational therapists should enter it through the mind or the eyes of the child. Try to understand the influence of your adult perspective when observing their participation in play, especially when setting and evaluating intervention goals. Don't be dismissive of anyone's play. Remember, we all do it differently. Imagine you and your friends are all setting off on a journey to the same location. You're all in different vehicles and, yes, you all take different roads or pathways. Some will be on quicker roads, others on roads more familiar to you. Some may even go cross-country and leave the roads completely. And that's okay. The important thing is that we all arrive in the town of play. Now, when we look at play, it's essential that we consider the influence of the social context of play on children and young people when setting intervention goals. External influences play a huge part on the way we play. From the moment we're born, our play receptacles are a warm jelly mixture sloshing around. Over time, external influences like our parents or carers, siblings, pets, friends, foes, homes, outdoor spaces, towns, cities, the year we were born in, the weather. Basically, all these external factors cool our temperature, and we end with our play jelly fixed in a mould. But don't worry, adults, it's never too late to reheat that jelly. Assessment. We'd like to remind you that we are all beautifully different. So when assessing a child's play, we recommend you consider the psychometric properties of any measure you might be using. That means how relevant, appropriate and useful the measure is to you and me. Can you trust what the measure tells you? Think about what you are presenting as play. We want to remind you to think of the cultural context. Think of the cultural context of the child as well. We're not robots, and even if we were, it's not like we were all made in the same factory. When assessing participation of children aged 0 to 5, please consider their engagement in the act of play, as well as their attendance, meaning how often that child takes part. When assessing any form of play, it's important to take into consideration the physical environment, whether the child uses a wheelchair, the items and equipment offering the opportunity to play, as well as the social environment. Who's there? Who's playing with them? Who may be watching? Play interventions. Playing with others doesn't come easy to everyone. Our play receptors are like a muscle that needs to be developed. When working with children with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, we recommend you use structured interventions where children can interact with their peers. This will lead to improved social play skills, especially if playing and interacting with others is the goal of the therapy. For autistic children, or those with autism spectrum disorder, ASD, we recommend using imitation and modelling in your intervention. Imitation and modelling benefits the playee, and, well, it's more fun for the occupational therapist too. I mean, who doesn't like to play? For those children who are hospitalised or in high anxiety-inducing situations, we recommend play opportunities are promoted as a way of lowering stress levels. Remember, play encourages imagination, escapism and fun. Now, I wouldn't mind a spoonful of that medicine. The power of play can be used to promote lots of other outcomes, such as positive mental health. When working with children and young people with intellectual impairments, developmental delays and learning disabilities, play and activity-based interventions can promote mental wellness in the young people. It is thought that when working with children and young people at risk of poor mental health, play-based interventions increase social participation. This leads to a sense of community, being part of a group, and a greater sense of self. A ladder to improved well-being. The longer the ladder, the harder it is to climb, but the views are definitely worth the effort. For those children with specific learning difficulties, consider group therapy-led peer play activities. As part of this, try including practice play, symbolic play, and games with rules to improve executive function skills. These are the brain processes that help a child plan, concentrate, and achieve their goals, as well as regulate their behaviour. Play should be for everyone, and everyone should be invited to play. It's our job to remove barriers so that play can be universally experienced. With the rise of technology, we ask you to consider the use of gaming technology. What? I hear you exclaim. We should be getting our children and young people away from screens. Well, actually, gaming technology is now recognised as a meaningful occupation for children and young people across a range of settings. Such activity as shooting aliens, scoring goals, or battling through imaginary worlds develops children and young people's performance skills, such as motor skills, develops cognitive ability and improves sensory motor functioning. And you thought it was just about getting to the next level. Play isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. As you have seen, and hopefully understood, we want you to play. These recommendations are but the beginning in an ever-growing research and evidence-based study of play. This guideline has brought together existing evidence from within occupational therapy about what play means and what we understand as play. Its ability to help us recognise the internal state of being of a child and young person, not just observing them in a state of doing. You can find all the references and research papers that support our recommendations for using play in the guideline that you can download from our website. Play is a microscope that lets those willing to understand and gain a greater insight into a child's life, their development and their well-being. So pick up that spyglass and think playfully, because play is joyful. Play is discovery. Play is imagination, escapism. It's therapeutic. Play is occupation. Play is important. That's why we're serious about play.